Hey guys, Tom here. Great project for you today. I'm going to be recoating this little piece of sidewalk. We coated it a few years back. It didn't hold up. It's peeling, it's pitting, and it just needs refreshed. We looked at a bunch of things, but I heard from the folks at BaseCrete, and they asked me to try this product right here, and it is called BRK 50. Now, a little bit about this product, and specifically BaseCrete. It was originally designed as a swimming pool coating. It's completely waterproof. It's like a cement and polymer mixed together. It's 1/8 inch is completely waterproof. And I did a little research on BaseCrete, before I wanted to try it, and they say 101 uses, but I'm telling you, it's probably endless of what you can do with this. Just a couple of things from their website that they came up with that you can use it for: pool coating, countertops, completely food safe, driveways, wood deck coatings, bond coatings, brick top coats, road top coats, sidewalk repair, which we're doing here, pet enclosures, parking garages, rock and mortar, footer waterproofing, showers, gutters, tomb coating, that's interesting, concrete art, telephone pole base coats, yard boundaries, playground cement, spray coatings. It's really endless what you can do with this. And the cool thing about this is you don't have to be a really experienced mason to do this. You can put it on with a trowel, which is what I'm going to do today. You can put it on with a roller. You can put it on with a squeegee. You can spray it. And it's really simple. It's self-leveling, and you really need some very basic tools. I would say probably the only specialty tool you need is a drill with a paddle mixer, because you really want to get this mixed up well. And I'll talk about this as we go. And if you want more information on base coat, where you can get it, I'll have some information on that in the description below. So the first thing I need to do is get this cleaned up. I want to get any of the looseness off. I'm going to get the loose stuff off, clean it off, wash it off real quick. You could power wash it. I'm just gonna clean it real good, hose it off. And the great thing about this, you want this substrate damp before you put it on. You don't want standing water, but you want it good and damp. And this stuff's gonna bond to it real great. So let me get started, and I'll tell you what's going on with this stuff. So let's get at it.
So not unlike any project that you want to do to make sure you get a quality result, prep is probably more important than the actual finished product. So this little piece of sidewalk, as small as it was, maybe 50 square feet, was just a wreck. Like you saw from the close-up picture, it was pitted, it was peeling, it was failing, had divots in it. So I scraped it all up, I wire brushed, I dug the old caulk out between the step and the sidewalk there, right where you can see me putting the blower in there. Went over it with a wire brush, scraped it, brushed it. I just tried to get as much of the loose junk off as possible. Now, the great thing about BaseCrete is it is going to bond to pretty much anything. So as long as you're clean and have most of the loose stuff off, you're going to be in good shape. And speaking of cleaning, I just sprayed it with, this is just a little citrus cleaner because I didn't want to be bothered with putting anything on there too harsh that's going to kill my beautiful brown grass there right next to it. And then I just, went over it with the deck brush, made sure all the dirt, again, this probably got some more loose stuff off, and then just cleaned it off. It doesn't take much. The quality of the result that you end up with is directly related to the surface that you start out with. Getting all the loose dirt off, getting all the old failing substrate off. But after that, this BaseCrete product is pretty much foolproof from what I've discovered, and as you'll see a little later on here as we go along. So then I just hosed it off, swept it off, got it all off, and we were good to go.
Hey, I'm ready. Now I'm going to mix this up. This bucket will cover 40 to 50 square feet, and that's about what I have right here. It's about 4 and change by 8 and change by almost 10, 8.5 by like 4 or 5. So that's about what I got. So what's in here is, this is the liquid. It's some kind of polymer. The cement. And then there is some mesh cloth if you have like a crack or something that you need to repair. I don't need that now. The directions say mix 3/4 of this in the bucket. And then I'm going to dump all of this cement in. And mix it up with a paddle. And you want to mix it to about what they say milkshake consistency. But don't do that. Okay, that's about what I got. Milkshake, leave it for 4 minutes, and I'm gonna clean off my leg.
So after I let it sit for 4 or 5 minutes, I actually added a little bit more of the liquid, remixed it, loosened it up again, because when it's sitting, it will tighten up a little bit. And then it's really simple. I just dumped it out as I went along, troweled it out, filled in my low spots. Again, great product this BaseCrete is. It's self-leveling. I think that's why you want it a little looser, because it is self-leveling and it's going to just fill in and find its own finished level here. Now, I did dig out the old expansion joint between my sidewalk and the street sidewalk, and then I just put in some backer rod because I didn't want all the BaseCrete to just go in there and fill that up. I just figured that would be a waste. Not sure if that's the proper thing to do. That's the way I did it. It seemed to have worked out fine for me. But you could probably just fill that with BaseCrete, but it was pretty deep in there, so the backer rod was the way to go for me. Again, you can put this on with pretty much anything. I troweled it. In retrospect, I think I probably would have been better with a squeegee, like you would use for if you're putting driveway sealer on, or you could probably even just get a small squeegee that you would use for, cleaning windows would probably work great too. They actually have a great video on BaseCrete's website where they show you tips and tricks to apply it, and in the one video that I watched, they were actually using a squeegee and it turned out great. But if you're good with a trowel, by all means, feel free to use a trowel. It worked out well for me. I just didn't like the finished coat of it. I probably don't do a lot of masonry, so my masonry tools, and specifically this trowel, was probably not the best trowel in the world. But it worked out well in the end. As you will see here shortly, I decided that I did not care for the texture when it was all said and done. It was smooth, but it just looked a little unfinished to me. Again, that is a direct result of my troweling abilities, and probably also I may have left this a little thicker of a solution than probably what was recommended. If I was a little thinner on my mix, it probably would have leveled itself out a lot better, would have finished a little smoother, and I may not have had to do the step that I did next, which you will see. I just got a little mason brush and textured the surface, which probably is not a bad idea because it is, after all, sidewalk, and you do want a little bite to it so people aren't slipping and falling when it gets a little wet. So like I mentioned earlier, I wanted a little more texture, and I found that using a brush like I did years ago, if you recall in the video where I parged the outside of my house, I troweled it on. Again, I discovered my troweling skills aren't the best, so I went over everything with a brush and smoothed it out and put a little texture on it. So I decided to do that here. And for this, here's where it's a little weird. I did not use water on the brush. I had a little extra of the polymer, the liquid that you mix in with the cement. So I put that in there because the directions do say don't mix with water. I guess it's very specific that they want you to use their included liquid as the mix. Now, probably putting it on top here, could I have used water? Probably so, and I think I might try that at some point because I ended up with a little uneven color, and I think that was directly related to the amount of this BaseCrete liquid that I brushed on as I was finishing the top coat here. But it turned out great. I had a nice little texture so people aren't going to slip and fall, and it worked out great. And then finally, you just got to protect it while it's drying. I found a little pallet so people can walk up the step there, get safely to the porch. Actually, the mailman came by while I was doing it, and it worked out great.
So that's pretty much it. I'm done. This has been setting for a while, and they say how you can test if it's cured, if you want to put another coat on or not. They say it's a thumbnail test. You just put your thumbnail in, and if it makes a mark, you're not ready yet. This is still making a mark, so I'm going to leave it sit. I may go over it again. As you can see, I troweled it, but I'm a much better painter than I am a mason, so I ended up just going over it with a mason brush. I didn't use water. I had a little extra of the liquid, so I just put that on my mason brush, put that over. I wanted a little texture on it. We'll see how it sets up. But overall, I think this is a pretty cool product. It's going to be waterproof, hopefully very durable. I can paint it, coat it again, top coat it with something if I want. If you want color in this, it does come in 3 colors, black, white, and gray. But I was also told that you can tint it with, I think, powdered dyes, not liquid, but powdered dyes you can tint it with. And it's really cool. Again, it's got probably as many uses as you can think of. I'm excited to see how this turns out. When I troweled it, I just kind of waterfalled over the edge. I did not finish the 2 edges because I'm going to come back and do this step at some point. And on vertical surfaces, you want a little bit thicker than what I had for the flat. So when I make that mix for the step, I'll finish off the edges. But for now, I think it's pretty good. Hey, if this is something that you have a project for, and you probably do because there's a million uses for this, I'll leave you a link below to learn more about BaseCrete, where to get it, what you can find, and let me know what you think. This is going to set up. I'm going to come back and check it tomorrow, see how it looks. I can already see it's starting to dry. Hopefully it turns out pretty well. So if you have a use for BaseCrete BRK 50 BaseCrete Repair Kit, oh, that's what it said, BRK BaseCrete Repair Kit, I think this is really worth it. I think this kit for this coverage is about $100, but that's certainly less than it's going to cost you to hire a mason to come out and resurface this for you. So I think it's worth it. It's very homeowner friendly, and I think you can do a lot of things with it. Definitely save yourself some money from hiring somebody, and we'll see how it weathers, how it deals. It's 100% waterproof once it's cured, because it is, after all, swimming pool coating, and I think it's going to work out really well. So that's it, guys. If you like this project, please give it a thumbs up, share it with somebody that you think could benefit from it, and let me know what you think in the comments below. Check out BaseCrete. Like I said, I'll leave you the links below where you can get it, a link to purchase this BRK 50, and thanks to the folks at BaseCrete for giving me the opportunity to check this out. I hope it works out. I hope you try it for something that you have planned, and until I see you next time, remember, take care of yourself and your home. I'll talk to you real soon.